Partly cloudy today, high 63, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, high near 70. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour tomorrow. And watching for a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms to roll through late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, with damaging wind gusts the main impacts.
37 degrees right now in Woodstock, 44 in Conyers, 44 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10, breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
People really responded and came out in their numbers in order simply to show their solidarity and their support for Pope Francis at this critical time.
Prayers around the world for the Pope. That was Johannesburg Cardinal Stephen Briesland in the Vatican. We'll update the Pope's health. We go live to Rome in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we're treating the untreatable. Using a patient's unique genetic makeup, our researchers are developing personalized cancer vaccines that help stimulate the immune system to better fight the disease and prevent it from recurring. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Is your heating and cooling system so old you can't remember when it was installed? If so, it's time to get protection from Reliable Heating and Air. Hey, friends, it's Mark Arum. Check this out. Let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just coverage for your aging AC and heating systems. Get all the information you need online at reliableair.com.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285, exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
9:37 on this marvelous Monday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. In just a couple of minutes, we'll get reaction in Kyiv to what happened in the Oval Office on Friday. We're going to check in with Eric Erickson live at 10:35, pick his brain on all things politics. Right now, though, going live to Rome, Italy. Joining us from CBS News, it's Seth Doan. Seth, I guess good evening where you are, but good morning here in Atlanta. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good late afternoon from here, mid-afternoon. Yeah, we're hearing relatively encouraging news today from Vatican sources this morning telling us the Pope had breakfast, he started therapy. There is still that guarded prognosis, though, that doctors say he's stable but not out of danger. The doctors are reporting this, what they're calling a normal evolution of treatment. They're talking about a normal white blood cell count, which is good. A higher white blood cell count could be an indication of an infection. So they're saying the therapy is working, but it's clear that the Pope is still not out of danger.
Seth, have we received an official diagnosis of what has been ailing the pontiff?
Well, we know that he has the double pneumonia in both lungs. We know as a younger man he had part of one lung removed, so that is a complication. He also has these chronic underlying lung issues. He had a flu. We had seen him breathless at times leading up to the hospitalization, unable to finish speeches, at times handing these speeches to aides to finish them. And then we know he went into the hospital with bronchitis, and that turned into this double pneumonia. But the real complication is he's an 88-year-old man with all of these underlying issues, and doctors have been telling us that you treat one thing with one drug, but you have the thing that might set off. And he was on, at one point I asked one of the doctors how many drugs he's on, and the answer was simply a lot. So part of this is to try to wean him off some of these things and to find the way of treating these issues without making something else worse. For a while, they had flagged that there was a concern over a mild kidney failure. That seems to be less of a concern now. His blood tests have been relatively good, but we are reminded of how delicate this is when he has one of these respiratory issues, this acute respiratory crisis that he had just again on Friday, where he actually vomited and inhaled some of that after the spasm in the breathing tubes in his lungs.
Seth Doan joining us live from Rome, Italy, here on the Mark Arum Show. When the Pope is ill, how does the Vatican cover his day-to-day duties? I'm assuming there's a staff, there's some sort of a delegation or a regulation of his duties. How are those carried out?
Yeah, it is a huge, huge bureaucracy, and the Vatican has been underlying. You might have noted in some of these reports that we get, some of these releases, they'll say the Pope resumed his working duties, or he was sitting up in chair, or he met with aides. We know he's met with his number two, the Vatican Secretariat of State, Cardinal Parolin. We know he's been to visit twice with his deputies. So the Vatican, with these messages of the Pope is working, is trying to underline that the work of the Church and that vast bureaucracy which he leads, but which of course are many, many operators, that all continues.
Seth, is there a chance that the Pope just decides to step down, to resign? Obviously, he became Pope because of a resignation. Is that on the table?
Yeah, and as you'll remember, that resignation was the first time a pope had resigned in about 600 years. So Benedict completely has added that element into the conversation. Now, this Pope Francis, has said all along that the only reason he's thought about retirement is because journalists asked him about it following Benedict. He's always said, no, I won't retire. But we did learn back in 2022 that just early on after becoming Pope, he had signed a letter of resignation, which he had put to his Vatican Secretary of State at the time, that said that if he was ever incapacitated, unable to do this job, he would resign. But we have no indication yet of that. Of course, there are all sorts of conversations, kind of rumors, but absolutely nothing official. The last we've heard from the Pope is absolutely he would not resign.
Interesting. Final question for you. So, Seth, I know the Jubilee celebration going on right now in Rome, in the Vatican, with the Pope indisposed. What happens to the Jubilee?
Yeah, well, it continues. It's his year of celebrations, of penance, but people come to Rome, and they come for a couple of reasons, and one of them is to hopefully see the Pope. And of course, these public appearances, audiences, you always do that Wednesday general audience. You often give a homily on Sundays. So people come to Rome, to Vatican City, hoping to see the Pope, and obviously at this point they cannot because the Pope's in the hospital. So clearly you have some disappointment among pilgrims, but they also come for other religious reasons, including walking through that holy door, which is at the front of St. Peter's Basilica, and that is one of the main things that pilgrims come to do, and they can still walk through that door. There are certainly other things they can do, but clearly disappointed. Many pilgrims are disappointed to not be able to see the Pope himself.
Seth Doan, CBS News correspondent in Rome, Italy. Seth, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
How amazing, Deborah, would it be to be the Rome correspondent for CBS News? Like talk about the greatest
dream job.
Gigs of all. Obviously, thoughts and prayers. Any reaction from your family, friends? You're Catholic. Is this a point of conversation, Deborah? You guys are talking about this?
I mean, there's definitely extra prayers in church, and you'll have some extra candles, an extra little altar that we have specifically for the Pope's health right now. So, yeah, it's a big deal. We're watching the Pope closely.
Yeah, for sure. 88 years old. I don't know. Listen, I aspire to be Pope-like in life. I just think if I were 88 and dealing with the health issues that the Pope has, I'd be like, you know what? Let me hand the reins over. You know, I've done my duty. and let someone else take over and just try to get better. But we'll see what happens. All right, so anything that breaks with the Pope's health, we'll bring it to you live here on 95.5 WSB. When we come back from a quick break, we're going to go up to the White House. Elena Tring going to preview President Trump's address to the nation tomorrow, his first address as he is in his second presidency. And will Coca-Cola cans be tariff-proof? Remember last week we talked about the tariffs on aluminum cans? Deborah's going to explain if Coke cans are tariff-proof here in Atlanta, home of Coca-Cola. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB Radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
It's March. The time changes. The season changes. But it also means that baseball is back and maybe a certain golf tournament is just around the corner. It also is probably time to update your home entertainment system, you think? Dave Baker here for Brightbox Electrical, a Cool-Rate company. Make your home the place to be this season simply by calling your friends at Brightbox Electrical. Brightbox can make your home entertainment system dream a reality. They can customize your home theater, add a surround sound system, connect every room in your house to music, hook up your outdoor living space for music and TV and more. I think I'm going to look into adding a golf simulator, but let's just keep that our little secret for now though, okay? It's all good. Brightbox has you covered. Right now, you can get $50 off any electrical service or a free TV mount with the purchase of a new TV install. March is the perfect time to upgrade. Simply go to brightboxelectrical.com and schedule your appointment today for a time and day that worked best for you. That's brightboxelectrical.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want to audition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today.
Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
9:48 on the Mark Arum Show. How about better news at 9:85? Live with the latest, Mike Shields.
Yeah, good news, Mark. Within the last 5 minutes, this crash completely cleared out of lanes. 985 southbound south of Highway 60, Queen City Parkway, exit 20. Still delays out of Gainesville, but that will improve. Crash now working on the west side perimeter, 285 northbound, the interloop at MLK Junior Drive, exit 9. That's in a left lane. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
It's basically turning Ukraine into a steel porcupine that is indigestible for potential invaders.
Hopefully I get this name right. Ursula von der Leyen, president of the European Commission, as European leaders met over the weekend to discuss the future of the Russia-Ukraine war. Coming up at 10:05, we're going to go to London. Inez de la Cuerta from ABC News is going to join us live with European reaction to what went down in the Oval Office on Friday between Presidents Trump and President Zelensky. Speaking of President Trump, he is set to address the nation tomorrow in the first State of the Union address. Previewing that outside the White House this morning, Ilana Treen.
Well, I've been talking with Trump administration officials, White House officials. Still, I'm told they're still working on the speech and the overall message. But I am told that at some point the president is expected to take a victory lap, of course, of the election, but also highlighting the accomplishments that they argue they have made in less than 2 months and to this point when he addresses Congress tomorrow. Now, of course, the speech that he's going to give tomorrow night is going to be very different than the last time he was up there. He was freshly impeached. The coronavirus pandemic had not even really begun yet. And now we're seeing him address a dramatically different Washington. Now, of course, I think one of the key things that everyone is looking for is how is he going to message specifically, his conversation about being on the world stage, but specifically the war between Russia and Ukraine following that Oval Office meeting on Friday. Now, Kate, as someone who covered the president very closely over the last 2 years while he was on the campaign trail, I know that he often talked about authoritarian leaders, people like Putin, with more favorable language, more favorable rhetoric, saying they're strong leaders, they're tough men. Very curious to see if he even uses any of that rhetoric tomorrow night. Obviously, it would be seen in a very different light. Now, all of this, of course, comes as we saw the White House dispatch many top cabinet officials and other Trump allies really to take over, go over the media airwaves this weekend and defend the president. They argued that what you saw President and Vice President J.D. Vance do in the Oval Office on Friday was an example of America First leadership. You saw people like Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, all of whom were in the Oval Office during that meeting, go on the Sunday shows and try to defend the president. You also heard people like Senator Lindsey Graham, but also House Speaker Mike Johnson at some point almost argue that perhaps Zelensky should resign. But then you also heard some more nuanced takes from other Republicans like this from Senator James Lankford. Take a listen.
No, we're not turning our back on Ukraine, nor should we. Putin is a murderous KGB thug that murders his political enemies and is a dictator there. And so we've seen that. We've seen his aggression. Countries around him have seen that. Obviously, the Ukrainian people have seen that.
Of course, this also comes as there are questions about how does the White House and the Trump administration move forward as it relates to seeking a peace deal with Ukraine and Russia. But also, just to go back to the speech, just very quickly, we do have new CNN polling that I think is striking to keep in mind through all of this. We saw that right now, the president's approval rating is 48% of Americans approve of his performance, 52% disapprove. Notable, though, that this poll was taken before that Oval Office meeting on Friday. So again, all, kind of that context as he heads into that speech tomorrow.
Elena Treen at the White House this morning. Again, we will cover the president's address, and I suspect I will hear on the Piccadilly text line from our bosses, if I'm not right, Deborah, that will also carry the Democratic response. Isn't that usually what we do? We do whatever the opposing party's response is. That's a tough gig, by the way, to, after the president gives the State of the Union in front of the both houses of Congress, and then you cut to one person in a room by themselves to give the opposition response. But I believe we'll carry them both live here on WSB Radio. All right, let's talk about tariffs and Coca-Cola. We told, I think it was on Friday's show, Deborah, we warned folks that a rising aluminum tariff could raise the cost of cans of beer at local breweries around town, right? We all like those small brew pubs that brew their own beer, can their own beer. And I question, I'm like, well, I wonder if the big dogs in the beer industry, like the Anheuser-Busch or the Coors, are going to see an impact because of the aluminum tariffs. And from the story you're telling me today about Coca-Cola, it seems like the big beer makers will be immune as well. What's the relationship between Coca-Cola cans and the possible aluminum tariffs?
Yeah, so Coca-Cola is not too stressed about this 25% tariff that you're going to have on all steel and aluminum. And even though they have a lot of aluminum cans, they say they actually sell 50% of their product in plastic bottles, and then the other 50%, 25% of that is aluminum, and 25% of that is glass. So they're saying, hey, if it really affects us, we're just going to lean into more plastic and more glass so that they don't have to change the price. So that's great for all the Coke drinkers out there.
So do you think, all right, so that's interesting. Not that they have like this inexhaustible supply of aluminum cans that they're like, oh, the tariffs won't impact. They're going to make more plastic and glass bottles, which leads me to believe there might be a run on cans of Coke. Now, I don't know what, it's personal preference. I don't know if there are Coke fans out there that need it in the can or, if it makes any difference. But it reminds me of, you were alive for this, Deborah, the introduction of New Coke back in the day.
I vaguely remember New Coke.
So I don't know if this happened in Wisconsin, but in Connecticut, we talk about the run on toilet paper and eggs, every time there's a storm. I definitely remember when Coca-Cola announced in the 80s, 85-ish, I don't remember, but they're like, we're changing the formula and we're getting rid of Coca-Cola Classic, or just Coke as they called it, and introducing New Coke. And I remember there was a surge at A&P and ShopRite and Price Chopper or whatever the grocery stores were in my area, as everyone wanted to load up on cans of Coke Classic, which eventually became Coke Classic. And obviously New Coke failed, and they brought Coke back as Coke Classic. But I remember the shelves were empty. People were buying cases of that stuff. They're like, you can't. So I'm just curious if they slow down production of cans of soda. If Coke does that, will people go out and, if you like Diet Coke and you only like it in a can, will you go out and buy, like Longoria did with the toilet paper? Will you go out and buy 12 pallets of cans of Coke? Anyway, all right, so that's interesting. So I just figured that Coke and Anheuser-Busch and Coors were so big that the tariffs wouldn't impact them. Like, they have their line of aluminum for their cans set up for years, but apparently they're just going to pivot and produce more Coke in cans and in plastic bottles and glass bottles. Quick update. I'm a birder, Deborah Green. Celebrity lovebirds are hoping to get past tragedy with some new arrivals.
Jackie and Shadow, Southern California's Big Bear Valley bald eagles, are hoping for triplets after 3 eggs failed to hatch last year, and 2023's batch was eaten by ravens. Fans are glued to a 24-hour eagle cam trained on the bird's nest as Mama and Papa fuss over their new threesome, with signs of pipping from within one shell confirmed. Facebook fans are overjoyed, one responding with tears of joy, another encouraging, "Oh, please come out, little one." Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Bald eagle triplets on a bird cam, Deborah. I need the link, please. If you can find out the link. I am wild. You know how entertained I am with the bird cam in the back of my house. I need to see the bald eagle. I've never seen a little baby bald eagle. So if you can, shoot it over to me, and I'll post it on social media at Mark Arum, MarkArum. All right, 2 minutes away from news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, European reaction to what went down in the White House on Friday. We're going to go to London. Inez de la Cuetera from ABC joins us with that reaction. That is next on the Mark Arum Show.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their coming Roswell or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
It's home show time. The Atlanta Home Show is Friday, March 7th through Sunday the 9th at the Cobb Galleria Center. The Atlanta Home Show, full of great deals, new ideas, and practical advice. Get your tickets online now at AtlantaHomeshow.com. Use Baker in the promo code and save 50%.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there. We made it back to Monday. Hope it's a great work week for you. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Dr. Roof. The head football coach at Appalachia High School announcing that he's stepping down nearly 6 months after that deadly school shooting that killed 2 students and 2 faculty members.
Coach Mike Hancock announces his resignation in a social media post, saying he's been struggling with PTSD, anxiety, grief, and depression for the past few months. Hancock goes on to say he's seeking mental help with a Christian counselor, and he encourages others who need guidance to do the same. One of the 4 victims of September's shooting was Hancock's defensive coordinator, Ricky Aspinwall. He was known as Coach A to his players. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
All right, your weather for today. It's going to be sunny, afternoon highs around 63, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The metro Atlanta counties are at increased risk today for wildfires. The Georgia Forestry Commission saying it has had to respond to dozens of brush fires over the past few days. The National Weather Service says fire danger conditions can be expected until early this evening. And there is a wildfire emergency in the Carolinas. At least 175 wildfires across South and North Carolina. Evacuations have been ordered. Stephanie Ramos is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina this morning.
One of the largest fires threatening communities near Myrtle Beach. A wall of fire burning down on homes near the Carolina forest, leaving hundreds of trees charred. The South Carolina National Guard deploying 2 Black Hawk helicopters to help fight the flames. Emergency personnel racing to extinguish the fire, too.
And there have been dry conditions helping those flames to spread. There is rain in the forecast for tomorrow. All right, if you ever park or pay to park around Metro Atlanta, this could impact you.
Atlanta-based Park Mobile will create a $9 million fund while distributing up to $21 million worth of credits to settle a lawsuit alleging it failed to protect consumers' personal information in a data breach back in 2021. According to the plaintiff's motion for final approval, the 21 million class members would be eligible for a pro rata share of the net settlement fund after deduction of attorney's fees and the cost of administration. The pro rata payments would be capped at $25. I'm Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman for 95.5 WSB.
A driver has plowed a car into a crowd of people in southwest Germany today. At least 1 person reportedly dead, others injured. A suspect's in custody. No word on a motive. The Department of Education offering a $25,000 buyout to employees who quit today. Monica Nelson has more on that.
The offer went out in an email Friday, giving employees until 11:59 p.m. Monday night to accept the offer, which is spelled out as the equivalent of severance pay or $25,000, whichever is less. The department is bracing for mass layoffs, which have been affecting much of the federal workforce since President Trump returned to office.
And the president's choice to lead the Department of Education, Linda McMahon, is set to be confirmed later today. Honda reportedly moving production of its next Civic hybrid car to Indiana because of possible tariffs. That, according to Reuters, the car maker had been set to produce the cars in Mexico. President Trump has said that a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada will go into effect Tuesday. Honda plans to begin building the new Civic model in Indiana starting in May of 2028. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 58 at 43,782. NASDAQ is also down more than 0.5%, and the S&P is down almost 0.5%. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. Watching a crash. Unfortunately, it's blocking the left lane on the west side perimeter 285 northbound at Martin Luther King Jr. Drive just before I-20, causing some delays back at Cascade Road, and still on and off the brakes as you travel through Midtown on the connector 7585 south getting past William Street, and a little bit crowded through Stockbridge on 75 south getting past Hudson Bridge. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 63, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, high near 70. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour tomorrow, and watching for a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms to roll through late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Damaging winds would be the main impacts from these storms.
All right, we have sunshine and 44 degrees right now in Smyrna and Holly Springs. Decatur, you have 45 degrees with sunshine. More news at 10:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Monday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended fam with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Vinny Bag of Donuts on the other side of the takeout window. Lovely Brianna screens your calls. 30 minutes from now, Eric Erickson's going to join us live. 11:20, we're going to check in with Eric Martin from Bloomberg News on the implementation of the Trump tariffs, which are set to go into effect. And I want to go in depth on the big local story. Authorities have suspended the search for that missing boater on Lake Oconee. We'll get the breakdown on that. I do want to continue our coverage of what happened Friday afternoon in the White House. Joining us in London from ABC News, it's Inez de la Cuatera. Inez, good morning. Thanks for your time. We were all kind of stunned here stateside on Friday, what went down in the Oval Office. After that, European leaders gathered in London yesterday to meet with the Ukrainian President Zelensky. What was that meeting like, and what was the general reaction in Europe to what happened in the Oval on Friday?
Yeah, that's right. So Ukrainian President Zelensky, on his way back from the U.S. heading to Ukraine, did stop by London to meet with European leaders for a high-stakes emergency summit on Ukraine. So this was European leaders really wanting to show support for Ukraine after that dramatic Oval Office meeting between Zelensky and President Trump and the Vice President J.D. Vance. This is European leaders, really trying to save Ukraine's relationship with the U.S. And we did hear from both Britain and France that they are assembling what they're calling a coalition of the willing to develop a peace plan here. So we understand that under this proposal, there would be a deployment of troops and planes to Ukraine to police a potential ceasefire. So it wouldn't be, just boots on the ground to participate in the fighting. It would be to ensure that the ceasefire is respected. The UK Prime Minister, though, Keir Starmer, saying that the U.S. will have to back the plan to prevent Russia from attacking Ukraine once again. Unclear at this point if the U.S. would support this plan.
Does it seem, Inez, that Europe's ready to go along without the United States in backing Ukraine against Russia?
It's certainly, that's the rhetoric that we're hearing. I think for months now, prior to this fallout, the Europeans had been talking about how Europe needs to play a bigger role here. We've heard that from the Brits, from the French. Emmanuel Macron has been a big, voice talking about how Europe needs to step up and play a bigger role. We heard it from the Germans as well recently, from Friedrich Merz, the man who is set to become Germany's next chancellor. He said that Europe must gain independence from the U.S. U.S. At the same time, though, I do think there are critics who say, well, the war in Ukraine has gone on for 3 years now, and the Europeans, haven't really walked the talk, if you will, and they've also had years to prepare for Trump's return and haven't really stepped up. So this could be a turning point for Europe. We could see them really stepping up now. And, you had the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer talking about how this is a once-in-a-generation moment for Europe. So we'll see. Certainly what we're hearing from them is that they want, the time for action is now. We heard that from the British Prime Minister. So we'll see at this point. I do think, though, that anything they do will have to have U.S. support.
Did we hear from Zelensky at all in this meeting on Sunday?
So he actually, interestingly, didn't, they didn't hold any kind of joint press conference. He did talk to reporters before boarding his plane at the airport. But I will say, for the most part, he's kind of laid low. I think he's trying to let things blow over. He's been active on Twitter, thanking, we saw him over the weekend, repeatedly thanking the U.S. for its support. That was something that President Trump and the Vice President, J.D. Vance, kind of called him out on. They wanted him to say thanks. And so we saw him I think, overcompensating for that on Twitter over the weekend, thanking the U.S., thanking the American people for their support. But beyond that, I think he's been also very outspoken in thanking Europe, and I think he's trying to keep a low profile at this point. We did hear from Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying that so far the Ukrainians and the U.S. have not been in touch since that meeting.
Yeah, speaking of social media, we also saw Zelensky basically retweet thanking all of the European leaders that showed their support on X or Twitter immediately following that aftermath in the Oval Office. Inez, European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas said, quote, "Today became clear that the free world needs a new leader. It's up to us Europeans to take this challenge." Is the President of the United States no longer the leader of the free world in the eyes of Europeans?
I think, I think I think there's a lot of disappointment in Europe about what happened on Friday. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of fear that President Trump is aligning himself too closely with the wrong side of history here and the Russians instead of Ukraine. I think the leaders feel let down. And so, I do think there's a sense that, people have been talking about Churchill a lot. And I think they're here in London, at least. I think there is a sense that this is, like the British Prime Minister said, a once-in-a-generation moment for Europe. The Europeans really have a chance to step up, and that someone needs to stand up for Ukraine and stand up to the Russians.
Heading up to President Zelensky's meeting in the Oval Office, we saw a lot of heads of state from Europe visit President Trump, the Prime Minister of UK, the French President, et cetera. Do we expect more visits from European leaders now post that Zelensky meeting? Are they going to be coming back and trying to make amends?
It's a good question. I'm not quite sure what the next steps will be. I know that talks are going to continue again because this peace proposal that they're trying to put forward, it's kind of an initial outline. They're still hammering out the details. I assume they're going to continue to talk with the U.S. And you saw, I thought it was interesting actually, that prior to Zelensky's meeting with Trump, you also had the French president in the U.S. You had Keir Starmer in the U.S. to try and kind of smooth things out, preemptively between the U.S. and Zelensky, and to try and push for security guarantees, to be a part of the conversation as well, to negotiate with Trump. So I think that's going to continue. Unclear if it will continue, as publicly as it's been lately, or if it's going to be kind of behind closed doors.
Inez, great stuff as always. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Inez de la Huerta there in London with the European reaction. Moscow just reacts to that meeting of the European Union leaders with President Zelensky. The Kremlin saying that summit was not a movement toward a peace deal. So basically saying whatever they talked about this Sunday is not going to help any agreement for a ceasefire or a peace deal. I guess the bigger question is, and I don't have the answer to this, and I don't know if anyone listening does. If the European Union decides to, quote, go it alone without any U.S. support, is that enough to help Ukraine fend off Russia? Is the EU strong enough militarily, financially? Is that enough to help Ukraine fight off the massive Russian army? Top of my head, I say probably not, right? Without U.S. involvement, can the EU provide enough? Would they have to expand? Would Japan, would South Korea, India maybe have to provide enough cover to make up for whatever the U.S. doesn't do? Now, we're not there yet, right? I still think there's going to be a rare earths mineral deal. I think that's beneficial for both countries. I do think that we are still going to support Ukraine in some way, shape, or form. I still think that we could be a key ally to get both parties to the negotiating table. But in a world without U.S. support, is the EU strong enough to support Ukraine on their own? Probably not, I don't think. I could be wrong. I think you'd have to fold in Asian nations, South American nations. It would take a group effort. We shall see. Interesting historic times we are living in, my friends. All right, quick break. When we come back, update on the search for the missing boater, Lake Oconee, and the Blue Ghost lunar surface landing. We'll update that next on the Mark Arum Show.
Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, hoping with Paws Atlanta to find a home for our WSB Dog of the Month, Goldfish. 3-year-old Pitty, displaced after the Biolab fire, loved a good belly rub when he came to visit us. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog, and our sponsor Finley Roofing will pay the adoption fees for Goldfish's new human. WSBRadio.com/dog.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Georgia farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state, go to TakeControlGeorgia.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Georgia farmers.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
We're all getting long in the tooth, friends. Am I right? What about your heating and cooling systems? Are they aging? Well, let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. Reliable Heating and Air, licensed, bonded, and insured. Amazing service. I can tell you firsthand, Reliable is the best. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just amazing coverage for as low as $14.99 a month, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. So protect your aging heating and cooling system with the amazing folks at Reliable Heating and Air. Just $14.99 a month gives you amazing peace of mind. Get all the info and schedule a consultation online at ReliableAir.com. That's ReliableAir.com. Don't wait until your aging systems go kaput. Get your protection now at ReliableAir.com.
How easy is it to save energy and money in 30 seconds? Let's count the ways. Power down unused devices. Swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs. Adjust your thermostat for the season. Change your air filter. Move furniture away from your vents. And turn off the lights when you leave a room. Georgia Power's more than just your power company. We're your saving sidekick. Get started at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs. Whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home, They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLend will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLend. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's mylend.com. Spelled it MILEND. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you? It's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
10:19 on the Mark Aram Show, updating the ride along I-285, live with the latest, Ashley Fresca.
Hey, Mark, a little bit better news on the west side. 285 northbound crash has been cleared to the shoulder. All lanes are open at Martin Luther King Jr. Drive as you're trying to get up to I-20, and a new slow spot coming up through Vinings on 285 north, just trying to get between Paces Ferry and I-75. And looking at construction delays, slowing the ride out of Swanee. 85 south, it looks like they're in a couple of right lanes at Lordsville, Swanee Highway 317. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia Inc. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Shaking her hips is Ashley Frasca. This is Havana by singer Camila Cabello. Am I pronouncing that right, Deborah? She turns 28 years old today.
Camila Cabello.
There's a shout out to this. Vinny's also here, musical. Doesn't she shout out East Atlanta in that song?
Young Thug is on the song, if I'm not mistaken. So yes.
But she shouts out East Atlanta
she
as
does
one of the
shout
lyrics. I remember saying that on Channel 2 one time. Singing.
Yeah, she does.
Let me play a little more of this. This is a good song. Does she have any other hits, Vin, we should be aware of?
I'm not sure. That's a Deborah question.
Yes, she does. She's got several hits that we play on her sister station.
Oh, there you go. Really? B98, I'm assuming?
Yes.
All right. Makes me.
Yes.
How many times in world history has someone been confused when someone said, "Hey, what do you think about salsa?" And someone was talking about the dancing, and the other person's like, "Oh, it's delicious." Like, how many times? That's why the language is so difficult. Because salsa is two different. It's a dancing style, as I was just doing there on the live feed at WSBRadio.com, and it's a delicious thing to dip your chips in.
Both are delicious.
Both are delicious. Thank you, Biddy. All right, updating a local story. This makes my heart hurt. Press relief from the sheriff in Putnam County on the search for the missing boater in Lake Oconee. I'm just reading verbatim here. Search activities that include the use of dogs and divers seeking to locate the body of Gary Jones in Lake Oconee have now been suspended until further notice. DNR officers and Putnam County Sheriff's deputies will continue to conduct daily shoreline searches, and if weather conditions improve, search dogs will be deployed again in the near future. So some of the search has been suspended. They are still going to look on the shoreline every day, and if the weather improves, they'll bring the dogs back in. But the mass search on the lake itself has been suspended. This has been an extensive 22-day search conducted by officers from the Georgia DNR, the Georgia State Patrol, and Putnam County Sheriff's Office. We are assisted by numerous civilian search and rescue organizations, staff, and other individuals associated with Westminster schools, and many civilian fishermen and residents from Lake Oconee and Lake Sinclair. Divers and dog handlers from all over Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina came here to help us, and all came as volunteer. They have deployed aircraft all available underwater technological devices, and professional divers in our efforts. I cannot remember such an extensive use of government and civilian personnel and resources for an incident such as this on Lake Oconee and St. Clair in the last 40 years. So that's an update from Sheriff Sills from the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. That I just feel so bad for the family of obviously the woman who died and the man who's still missing. Like, the search has been going on for 22 days. I mean, best case scenario, you want your father, your brother, your son, your coworker, your friend to be alive. Like, something somehow happened, amnesia. He shows up. That's the hope right now. But as we get further and further away from his disappearance, 22 days. Like, what's the realistic outcome? And would it be better just to get closure, to wake up tomorrow morning and find out we've recovered his body? You understand what I'm saying, Deborah? Like, what an awful situation to be in, where you still want to hold out hope. Like, oh, Gary's still alive, somewhere I can feel it. But the not knowing and not having any closure. So the search will continue on the shores, and then weather permitting, they will get back out on the lake and bring the dogs. But I can't even fathom what the family and friends of Gary Jones are going for, as a portion of the search has been suspended. Just awful. I do want to update, Deborah, the Blue Ghost lunar surface landing. Did that go down as planned over the week? I think it was supposed to be over the weekend. Did it?
Yeah, this is great.
So tell us about it.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first private company to successfully land on the moon. You remember a couple years ago, I believe China tried to do it, but they had some issues and they weren't able to land. Well, this company successfully landed. They have equipment up there from NASA, and they're going to spend about 2 weeks collecting samples and bring them back down. So far, everything is going really well for them.
And it's not coming back. The rover's staying up there, and it's about a 14-day exhibition or excursion to try to get data from the moon. Now, this isn't. Have we ever? And forgive my ignorance, but we've never done anything on the dark side of the moon, right? Like, we don't know what's going on. Isn't that so weird?
Just Pink Floyd.
Yeah, we only see one side of the moon. Like, I don't want to be a flat earther, right? But what's going on in the dark? How is it we only see Neil deGrasse Tyson? Call me up. Why is it? Because the rotations are in sync? But why is it we only see that front-facing part of the moon? We never get to see the dark side of the moon. What's going on over there? I don't know. That's a story for another day. This is a tragic story out of Europe. In Germany, at least one person killed, several others injured after a driver rammed a car into a crowded in the city of Mannheim. Happened during a carnival celebration. Police have not yet determined if it was a deliberate attack, but are asking the public to stay away from the downtown area. Cars have been used as deadly weapons in acts of violence in recent months in Germany. The BBC's Danny Aberhard says law enforcement's offered few details thus far, but the timing could be significant. He says security's been tightened at these open markets in recent years, but not necessarily bulletproof.
It's incredibly difficult. It's not just in Germany. It's incredibly difficult anywhere in the world. So, for example, the attack in Magdeburg, the attacker actually went down a route that was used for the emergency services. So, obviously, the authorities have to plan to be able to get to crowds if, for example, there's some sort of other emergency that's nothing to do with a deliberate attack.
You know, reminiscent of what the terrorist attack we had here in New Orleans on New Year's Day. But there's been a lot of these in Germany. And I mean, we haven't followed the story close. I haven't followed the story close enough to know the motives of these. But wasn't there one at the Christmas market too, Deborah? Like someone rammed a car into the Christmas.
It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Germany, but some sad news there. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, I am super excited to talk to Erick Erickson, not only about politics, but his reaction to what went down in the Oval Office on Friday. It happened while Eric was on the air. He joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
Are you facing a fork in the road and deciding between continuing your career and retirement? I'm Wes Moss, host of Money Matters, and this massive life decision shouldn't be taken lightly. Talk with my team if you'd like help reviewing your retirement accounts and building a financial plan. We can help you review options and offer an opinion based on your best interests. You can find us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their Cumming, Roswell, or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
Plumbing. What is it? One dictionary defines it as moving water through pipes to do things and stuff. My kid's dictionary, by the way. But sometimes things like leaks, clogs, or corrosion mean your plumbing system goes, "What?" That's when you book Castile. Our expert technicians have seen it all and fixed it all with same-day service. And if it's a bigger job like needing a new water heater, our flexible payment options and money-saving warranties make it easy. We define that as peace of mind and stuff. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Fire damage or fire danger around North Georgia includes all of Metro Atlanta.
The National Weather Service notes the dry conditions all around our area. Our last significant rain was on February 19th, almost 2 weeks ago. Adding to that danger are low humidity and gusty winds, both prime factors to spread any fire that does break out. The high fire danger remains in effect until 7 o'clock tonight.
And WSB's Judd Higginbotham says it's the same conditions that has helped spread weekend fires around the North Georgia mountains that burned almost 2,500 acres and the wildfires that continue to burn in the Carolinas. In fact, nearly 5,000 acres have burned in South Carolina as 175 fires have now been reported across the state. Russell Hubright, Forest Management Chief for the South Carolina Forestry Commission, says the combination of dry brush and windy conditions making for dangerous fire conditions.
It's very erratic. You saw it, the flames were low, and all of a sudden they jumped up, right? So wind changes can do that, and this kind of a fuel type, as we call it, so it can be a little scary.
South Carolina's governor declaring a state of emergency over the weekend. In North Carolina, a fire in the Blue Ridge Mountains 40 miles from Asheville has scorched nearly 500 acres and was 30% contained at last check. At least one person is dead after a car drove into a crowd in southwest Germany. Police say it happened during the lunch hour rush today. Local reports say multiple victims could be seen lying on the ground, and there is a heavy law enforcement presence on the scene. Police have not yet confirmed whether this incident was an accident or a deliberate attack. The head football coach at Appalachia High School is stepping down nearly 6 months after the shooting that left 4 people dead at the school in Barrow County. Coach Mike Hancock posting on social media that he's been struggling with PTSD, anxiety, grief, and depression. One of the 4 victims of that September shooting was Hancock's defensive coordinator, Ricky Aspinwall, known as Coach A to his players. Coach Hancock said his goal now is to make his life's effort to help others who may be going through the same thing. Tariffs on Mexico and Canada go into effect this week. Senator John Cornyn of Texas trusts President Trump's plan.
The word he uses most often when talking about this is reciprocity. We want other countries to treat us as well as we treat them.
The president said on social media that illegal drugs continue to pour across the border and what he called very high and unacceptable levels, despite pledges from both neighbors to boost security. The tariffs continue to be a core piece of his second-term agenda. Additional taxes on imports of steel and aluminum are set to take effect later this month. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow is up 7 at 43,848. NASDAQ is down, so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
Just monitoring that midday construction, late morning midday construction causing delays. They're set up in a right lane or two through Swanee, 85 south at Lawrenceville, Swanee, Highway 317. Careful again in a couple of right lanes there, causing delays on both 985 and 85. And then through the Lawrenceville area, careful of crews working in the left lane on Buford Drive, Highway 20 southbound at Russell Road. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today, high 63, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, high near 70. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour tomorrow. And watching for a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms to roll through late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, with damaging wind gusts the main impacts.
Partly sunny and 45 degrees in Duluth. It's 48 in Vinings. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 49 degrees. More news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
Your baby is ugly.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
I abhor violence. Unless it's on the football field, where it belongs.
And some advice.
A meme coin, of course, something I don't really understand. Don't ever buy one. There you go. I just gave you some great advice.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Europe must do the heavy lifting. But to support peace in our continent and to succeed...
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosting a summit of European leaders, including Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Eric Erickson and his reaction to what went down in the Oval on Friday. He joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
10:36 on this chilly but beautiful Monday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Still to come, we're going to go to Kyiv, get reaction from Ukrainians, what happened Friday in the Oval Office. Eric Martin from Bloomberg News joining us in the 11 o'clock hour, updating the tariff situation between the U.S., China, Mexico, and Canada. But joining us live now on the show, as he does every Monday, our friend and colleague Eric Erickson. Eric, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Got to start with you were on the air when everything went down at the Oval Office. First off, I was already home by the time, so I wasn't listening to your show. I'm sorry. How did you handle it on the air when that broke and all went down?
You replayed the audio just to make sure I heard what was going on. I had people who were texting me saying, you got to turn on the TV, turn on the TV. I'm like, I'm on a radio. And then Charlie starts texting and he's like, dude, you've got to turn on the TV, like run the audio live. So I pulled up the TV and streamed it live on air as this meltdown was happening. It kind of was incredible. The problem here is that most people only saw that last 5 minutes, and it looked like J.D. Vance was the guy who instigated it. But actually, I went back and watched the whole 40 minutes. I'm going to start my show with it today, that Volodymyr Zelensky was given a security commitment by Donald Trump in exchange for this mineral rights deal and absolutely lit himself on fire. He screwed this whole thing up. He got a great deal and didn't realize he was being given a great deal.
Well, it's so weird. I mean, the whole situation was weird and befuddling, and it was painful for me to watch. It was just so awkward. Like, I felt at the top of the show, I said it felt like watching my parents argue with another couple. Right?
Yes.
Like I was like, oh, I just want this to stop. What's going on? But I was under the assumption that this deal was already signed, sealed, and delivered, right? The rare mineral elements. Otherwise, why would he fly all the way to the Ukraine to the White House? But apparently, it wasn't a done deal yet.
Yeah, so we've offered him the deal 3 times. He's rejected it 3 times and apparently got it in his head. If he went to Washington, he could renegotiate the deal in person. Now, there are rumors flying all over Washington, and not just like the internet rumors, but really credible people are whispering that the understanding is that Democrats advise Zelensky that Trump's a tough negotiator and you got to go face to face and negotiate with him. And, well, he got bad advice from the Democrats, if that's the case.
I'm not placing blame here, and I watched the whole thing like you did. No one really saw the first 40 minutes of the thing, but it seemed like it was salvageable until J.D. Vance kind of got in there, and I think President Trump took his cue, like, "Oh yeah, J.D., you're right. This is ridiculous." Was that the tipping point? Do you think?
Yeah, look, I do think that J.D. Vance has wanted nothing to do with Ukraine and saw an opportunity at the very end with the last question to kind of scuttle it. But also Zelensky for those 40 minutes really had been very ungrateful and was trying in real time while the cameras were running to renegotiate things. So, yeah, look, both sides come across as not very good. But so Mark Thiessen is a Washington Post editorial writer. He worked in national security for George Bush, huge supporter of Ukraine. And I mean, Mark Thiessen's in the Washington Post today saying Zelensky got everything he wanted and didn't realize it and blew up the deal. It's forget J.D. Moore or J.D. Vance. It's Zelensky who blew it up. So when you've lost a guy like Mark Thiessen who's in your corner, you didn't do good.
Yeah, that's very telling. That being said, Eric, salvageable? Can we still get something done?
Yeah, I think it actually is salvageable. I mean, the White House really would like a deal. They do want peace. The European powers are now stepping up today saying they will help. So, I mean, the upside is that Europe has finally realized it's going to have to do something. There was a remarkable story that came out this weekend that actually the Europeans have given more money to Russia in the last 4 years for natural gas than they've funded Ukraine.
Yeah, they've been sucking on that natural gas teat, if you were, from Mother Russia. I said at the beginning of the show, and agree or disagree, but so 2 months into the Trump presidency, speaking as a talk show host, I have loved what the setup has been when world leaders come, because historically this wasn't the case. Historically, a world leader comes in, a prime minister, a president, they do that photo op in the Oval Office, and then they go behind closed doors. The press gets kicked out, and then they do their thing, and then they have a press conference after. I've loved seeing the Prime Minister of Japan, of Israel, of the UK, the President of France. They do. It's been a gold mine for us getting to see all this press conference before they even meet. If that was if they still did it the old-fashioned way, where it's just a photo op, I think that explosion might still have happened, but it would have been behind closed doors, and the world wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, they would have. I have one major complaint. Can he just go on vacation for 3 days so I can catch up to all the stuff that's happened?
It's exhausting.
And reset. It is like there's so much every day. There's so much on the cutting room floor that I can't get to because it just happens in a whirlwind. I'm like, just give us 3 days to catch up and then come back.
You and I need to start a support group for the folks that have to do this every day. Eric Erickson joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Reaction pretty much along party lines. There are a couple of Republicans. I think Senator Murkowski was pretty critical of what went down. Lindsey Graham, who has been a strong Ukrainian supporter, was not happy with President Zelensky. Any other outliers on either side of the aisle?
No, not really. Those are the big ones. I got to say, this is part of what I want to talk about today, is that it is almost impossible at this point to have a rational conversation about the Ukrainian situation. People have gone into their tribal corners and they're letting the emotion of things overwhelm the facts on the ground. And I mean, the fact on the ground is we absolutely do need to stop the Russian Chinese axis that's growing. And we do need peace in Ukraine, and they are going to have to give up land in Ukraine. But this immediately rushing to, oh, Donald Trump is just helping Putin. He was literally going to give a security guarantee to Zelensky. He said as much. So don't say that he was giving Putin something he wanted. But nobody wants to even process what's happening rationally at this point. They just want to go to their tribal corners and yell, he's for Putin or this is bad. It just there are real problems and having a grown-up conversation about it.
Well, even without a security guarantee from the U.S., if that rare earth minerals deal was signed, and there were Americans in Ukraine, and a lot of those rare earth minerals are in eastern Ukraine near the front lines, like Putin would not, that would have been bad for Putin, right? Because he doesn't want American deaths on his hand. But the fact that it didn't get signed it's a win for the Kremlin. The fact that
very much so. I mean, Vladimir Putin had a fantastic day on Friday. As a result of this, whoever you blame, Putin won the day, but it's very notable. He said nothing since then.
Yeah, there's nothing to say. Like, let it play out. That being said, and I posed this question last segment: if U.S. stays out of this militarily, financially, is there enough power, money, military might in the EU to sufficiently support Ukraine in this battle, or it's not strong enough? They definitely need the U.S. support.
Oh, they've got to have the U.S. support. The European powers combined don't have the military might of Russia. We're the only country that does. So they've got to have the U.S. on board, and the U.S. is willing to get on board, but everyone seems to just be getting really bad advice on how to deal with Trump.
I'm going to leave you with this, Eric. I'll get reaction to this quote. This is from the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas. Said, quote, "Today it became clear that the free world needs a new leader. It's up to us Europeans to take this challenge." Is it Europeans' view that the President of the United States is no longer the leader of the free world?
I think that's increasingly the view of the European elite, but here's a problem for them. They're being rejected by their own voters. So that they've lost their own voters. So whether they lose Trump or not, it doesn't matter. They are consistently now losing elections across Europe.
Personal question. My wife wanted me to ask you this. Watching your live stream, you come on, you can watch live our show and Eric's show at WSBradio.com. Maya really loves these sweatshirts you're wearing. Apparently that's the new style. She's like, you got to ask Eric where he gets his sweatshirts because they look good.
Roback. They're these
Roback,
great hoodies that I started wearing them on the golf course because it was getting chilly. But, as it's warming up, I mean, I'm fat. I'm not going to be able to wear them much longer. But they are super comfortable. Really, I travel with them.
Sears and Roebuck?
RHOBACK.
All right. Well, Maya's a fan, so now you just cost me a lot of money. I got to go.
There you go. They're reasonably priced.
I got to go fill my wardrobe. Eric, always a pleasure. Listen live, folks, noon to 3 across these fruited plains. I'll be listening on my way home, buddy.
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you. Eric was there. At first, I was jealous that Eric was on the air when that all went down. And because I was like, oh, I wish I. Then I'm like, no, I'm grateful. I was not on the air when all that stuff at the Oval went down. All right, we got reaction from Eric. What about reaction from Ukrainians to what happened on Friday? We'll get an update from Kyiv next on the Mark Arum Show.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Arum, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go, 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head-scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and for over a decade, I've trusted America's best choice for windows, doors, siding, and decks.
Spring is the perfect time to update your home, and America's best choice makes it easy with these spring specials. Highest quality, energy-efficient windows starting at just $299. Take 10% off a new deck and create the outdoor oasis of your dreams. No pressure, no gimmicks. Visit abcwind.com today to schedule your free consultation.
When you need quality professional tree work, choose Heath Tree Service. Hi, I'm Jimmy Heath. My father started Heath Tree Service over 60 years ago, and we're still family owned. Certified arborists and experts with trees. Find us at heathtreeservice.com.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Here's a spring cleaning hack to make your life easier. Schedule an appointment with Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Their patented ZR water cleans better than detergents while leaving zero residue behind, leaving your carpet soft and fluffy. Take advantage of their spring sale going on right now. Mention me, Chris Chandler, to get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $129 plus a free hallway. Book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero-Res, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
10:51 on the Mark Arum Show. Seeing some construction delays on the freeway system. Live with the latest, Ashley Frasca.
Certainly a few brake lights now coming down 985 and 85 South, all because of roadwork set up in 2 right lanes on 85 South at 317 Lawrenceville-Swanee Road. Not bad enough for an alternate route yet. And then getting through Lawrenceville, you got a lot of brake lights headed Buford Drive, Highway 20 southbound, construction in the left lane at Russell Road. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone recognizes this tune, right? 150 years ago today, the opera Carmen premiered in Paris, initially receiving a cool reception from audiences, even though it's now a mainstay in the operatic canon. I didn't know that. I know the song, right? Question for you, Vin. Top of the dome. Would you rather go to the opera or the ballet?
Take me to the ballet.
Really? Deborah, opera or ballet?
Oh, ballet for sure.
Oh, well, you guys are going together. I'm going to the opera. I like opera music. I don't dislike ballet, but I like it. What? I mean, you can go hear this. I guess you hear music at the ballet too, so you get the best of both worlds, I guess. But
I'm a dancer.
Yeah, you are a dancer. A quick update on the. Thank you, Deborah. Deborah sent me the link to the bald eagle nest cam with the triplets. I am watching it now live. I just see the mama. In the nest, but it is awesome. Is that in Alaska? Where is that? That's phenomenal. But I tweeted out California, Big Bear Valley. Okay. And apparently Amanda on the gram said that the Berry College has their own live cams with eagles. So I'm going to get a link on that. But this is fat. Look how beautiful that is, Deborah. Goodness gracious. I think I need to move there. All right, so continuing to come, update, reaction went down in the Oval Office on Friday. We went to Europe. We got reaction from Eric Erickson, reaction from the White House. What about reaction in Kyiv? Neil Peyton Walsh is in Kyiv this morning for CNN.
Yeah, it is, I think, a time to remind people of the violence put upon Ukraine every night. President Zelensky today warning that in the last week there's been 1,000 drones fired by Russia at Ukraine. And that kind of brings home the urgency, frankly, as to why Ukraine is pro a peace deal that actually sustains and works for them. We had a vague whisper from the French President Emmanuel Macron telling the French Figaro newspaper yesterday that potentially one of the ideas is for a limited ceasefire that involves sea, air, and ceasing attacks on energy infrastructure. Both sides been doing that particularly hard over the past months. Just an overnight strike by Ukraine on an oil refinery in Ufa, 1,300 kilometers deep inside Russia. So that potential idea floated, it seems, by the French president, one of the 2 European leaders alongside the UK's Keir Starmer, as some potential starting mechanism. And indeed, the Ukrainian president suggesting another confidence-building measure could in fact be the return of deported children. Remember, that's something Vladimir Putin has been accused of a war crime by the International Criminal Court for being involved in, and a larger return of prisoners of war or exchange of those. So lots of ideas being floated here, but frankly, none of them will get traction without support from the United States. We know that Keir Starmer has, on Saturday and Friday after the blow-up in the Oval Office, spoken to President Trump. Zelensky himself giving a wide-ranging press conference in London after that substantial meeting with European leaders and indeed King Charles III, in which he said he was still willing to sign the rare earth minerals deal. I should point out, the Trump administration said it's not at present on the table. He also refuted the idea that, he could somehow just step aside. He said, look, if you want to have elections here, then you've got to persuade me to not run in them, and I have to then be negotiated with, and my price for that is Ukraine joining NATO, and that would mean my mission is complete, and I don't mind stepping aside. So obfuscating the matter there, clearly not going anywhere, and also aghast again, would he apologise to the Trump administration? He said no. Here's what else he had to say.
If the President of the United States of America will invite me for a constructive dialogue, I represent the interests of a country that heavily depends on support from partners. So, of course, if I am invited for a constructive dialogue, for solving real problems, for serious questions and real resolute actions and answers, I will be there, out of respect for America, the American people, the President, and the two parties.
Ultimately, the way forward here is that somehow the Trump administration needs to drop the talking point of Zelensky resigning. Zelensky, I think, needs to let the dust settle and sign this deal if the Trump administration lets him. And I think they need European leaders to try and bridge this issue here. But without the reconciliation between the two presidents, Ukraine is still, I think, frankly, in very dangerous territory.
Nick Payton-Walsh in Kyiv this morning for CNN. I am, just to echo what Eric Erickson said last segment, I am optimistic that a deal can be done between the United States and Ukraine. At the bare minimum, that rare earth minerals deal. Now, I don't foresee, though, call me just a pessimist, I don't see Zelensky coming back to the United States to do this. Like, he is going to send his second in command or the ambassador, and the ambassador will sit down with Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, and they'll make that deal together. I can't envision, after what we saw Friday, that Zelensky's going to get back on a plane and come back to sign any deal. Maybe the presidents meet, in Prague or something to get a deal done. I am optimistic that it just makes sense to both sides to get a deal done. But I can't envision Zelensky, no matter what he's wearing in the Oval Office, coming back to have a possibility of a repeat of what we saw Friday. Any new developments in Russia, Ukraine, the peace talks, the rare earth mineral deals, we'll, of course, bring it to you live here on 95.5 WSB. Quick break. We'll come back and update our top local stories on 95.5 WSB.
Why does it matter that D. Geller & Son is Atlanta's first diamond wholesaler? Because we get first dibs. When diamonds come to Atlanta, they come to D. Geller & Son first. A bunch of diamonds that look the same on paper, but there's about 1 in every 10 that you can see from across the room. So we keep the good one, we pack the rest back up, and they go somewhere else. Usually a big box store that's not quite as picky. That means the same color, same clarity, and same price gets you more brilliance, more sparkle, more bang for your diamond buck at D. Geller & Son. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs, online at dgeller.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. A high school coach in Barrow County has resigned nearly 6 months after that deadly school shooting at Appalachia High.
Appalachia High School head football coach Mike Hancock says he's stepping down to focus on his mental health and healing. Hancock announces in a social media post he's been struggling in the past few months with anxiety, depression, grief, and PTSD. 2 students and 2 staff members were killed in the shooting, including Hancock's defensive coordinator Ricky Aspinwall. Hancock has coached at Appalachia since 2018 and was promoted from defensive coordinator in 2023. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
All right, your weather for today is going to be mostly sunny. A few clouds around this afternoon. High 63, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The fire danger remains high for much of North Georgia, including metro Atlanta, through this evening. The National Weather Service notes dry conditions around our area, along with low humidity and gusty winds like the ones that spread dozens of fires over the weekend in the North Georgia mountains, including Lumpkin and Rabun counties. Meanwhile, the fire continues to burn in the Carolinas. Residents there near Myrtle Beach are on edge this morning.
They keep popping up, these little things do, and you don't know if they're going to come and get to your house or the next neighbor's house. It just really scares me.
Evacuation orders have been lifted, but parts of South Carolina remain under a state of emergency because of the same dry conditions like we are experiencing here. Happening right now. Hundreds of employees and concerned citizens joining forces outside NOAA headquarters in Washington to protest job cuts there. More than 880 probationary employees at NOAA have fallen victim to the recent federal firings. Update on Pope Francis. He is in stable condition this morning and off ventilation. The Vatican said that the pontiff rested well overnight. He suffered a respiratory crisis on Friday, but doctors said that the Pope has shown no signs of new infection following the crisis. He has been in the hospital for more than 2 weeks due to bronchitis and pneumonia. Residents near the Beltline and Piedmont Park are raising concerns about a proposed development that would increase traffic on an already crowded Monroe Drive. Portman Holdings is planning the project with several buildings, including more than 1,000 apartment units in the space that's now Amsterdam Walk off Monroe Drive. The Atlanta DOT also planning a 2-year road project there. That's going to impact you as far as your commute around that area. There will be a virtual community meeting with District 6 City Councilman Alex Wan tonight at 7 to talk about the plans before city officials vote on it later this month. And if you're starting to think about spring cleaning, if you have old electronics that you need to get rid of, the city of Dunwoody is holding an event to help folks there take care of that. On April 6th from 1 until 4, you can drop off electronics to be recycled at St. Luke's Presbyterian Church on Mount Vernon Road next month. They'll take everything from laptops to TVs. You do need to register on the city's website, though, before you drop things off. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 32 at 43,808. NASDAQ is also in the red, so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. It's a rough ride leaving the Mall of Georgia area. It's all due to a travel advisory. 2 right lanes blocked with construction. 85 southbound, Highway 317, Lawrenceville, Swanee, exit number 111. You're slow from Buford Drive on 85 and 985. You can use Satellite Boulevard or Buford Highway as alternates. Elsewhere, also seeing some slowdown. 285 eastbound, the inner loop between Chamblee, Dunwoody Road, and Peachtree Boulevard as you head over into, or Peachtree Road as you head over into the Dorville area. And if you're traveling downtown, 75-85 northbound on and off the brakes from University Avenue as you clear Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 63, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, high near 70. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour tomorrow, and watching for a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms to roll through late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Damaging winds would be the main impacts from these storms.
51 degrees in Marietta. It's 50 in Lilburn, 52 in College Park. More news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I want this town to be near you.
11:04 on this fast-moving Monday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk to Eric Martin from Bloomberg News about the forthcoming tariffs that will be implemented between us, Mexico, Canada, and China. And this just popped in the last couple of minutes. Ford CEO warning that the tariffs could have a severely bad impact on the American automotive industry. So Eric Martin from Bloomberg News is going to join us in just a little bit. We're going to continue to update the reaction to what happened in the Oval Office on Friday. This just popped, though. This is crazy. If you listen to the show for a long enough time, you might know, Vinny, you don't know this, but in my younger years, when I was about your age, I went to 8 straight Mardi Gras. 8 straight Mardi Gras. I was a Mardi Gras. I have not been since I've become an old man. I just don't have the energy for it. But this just popped some breaking news. Mardi Gras celebrations scheduled for tomorrow have been canceled in one parish due to weather concerns. Okay. Jefferson Parish officials canceled Mardi Gras parades on Tuesday because of strong winds expected in the area. Parish President Cynthia Lee Shang said it was a tough decision to make, but believes it's the right one.
Many people have planned, all year long for tomorrow, whether that be the captains and the crew members, the float riders, the royalty. And I know there are many, many scheduled parties for tomorrow. But Mother
Sorry.
Nature just has decided not to work with us.
Play it safe. Those, the high wind. Gosh, it was so windy in my backyard yesterday. We were having over the weekend. Tree limbs are falling down. You got to play it safe there. I do recommend, if you've never been to Mardi Gras, go at least once. It's I can't even put into words the sights, the sounds. Some of the smells aren't fantastic, but I went 8 straight years, and it was I had some of my best memories were from that. But go at least once. All right, so it's I thought it might when the story broke, I thought it might be like a security concern that they canceled the parade, but it's a weather concern. So there you go, Deborah. So what is it? I'm sorry, Deborah. If Mardi Gras is kicking off, when's Ash Wednesday? When's Fat Tuesday? All that stuff.
Yeah, it's actually a huge deal because tomorrow is Fat Tuesday, which is the day that you get to indulge in everything, because Ash Wednesday is Wednesday, and that's when you have to stop. Like for me, no ice cream, no shopping, no alcohol, no meat. Everything stops on Wednesday. So Tuesday's the day you want to party.
You're going full bore then, as usual on Ash Wednesday for Lent. Okay, so Fat Tuesday's tomorrow. We got to celebrate somehow, and then Ash Wednesday starts is Wednesday. Now you give up a lot for Lent. Right? Longoria gives up random stuff. We'll find out tomorrow. He's back tomorrow. We'll find out what he's giving up for. But I'm thinking about people that don't have the freedom to give up all the. Yeah, you give up sweets. What other foods do you give up? I forgot. I'm sorry.
So zero meat,
No
all
meat.
sweets. I mean, ice cream's the hardest one. I don't have any alcohol. Just the traditional stuff. Really.
Yeah, and I applaud you for that. I think that's phenomenal that you do that. But what if you're allergic to a certain amount of foods and you can't, like if you're allergic to peanuts, right? You can't give up peanuts because you already gave them up because you're allergic, right? There's no sacrifice there. This leads me to the next story. I don't know how this guy is still alive. This guy's allergic to 28 different foods. 28 different foods. Who is this guy and what is he allergic to, Deborah?
So his name is Alex D'Souza, and he's allergic to at least 28 foods, possibly more. And I guess this all happened when he was a baby. He was given some wrong formula, and that affected allergies going forward. But certain things that he can't eat at all are peanuts, like you said, peas, legumes, lentils, kiwis, a lot of spices, coriander. Some of those are the specific things that he can't eat.
Coriander? That's have you ever been where was I just at recently? Was it sushi? I forgot where I was, but there the waiter came over, the server was like, anyone have any dietary restrictions? And I'm so used to saying, no, I'm good. But I was with someone that is allergic to I forgot what they're allergic to, but they changed she was allergic to. It wasn't someone we were with. They were sitting next to us at the sushi counter, and she was allergic to like 4 things. And you could see the sushi stuff, like, oh goodness gracious, like what a pain in the neck. But it's a real thing. But 28 things. How has he survived? He's got to have like 12 EpiPens with him at all time. That's insane.
Yeah, he says he always carries an EpiPen, and he's had to learn how to cook very specific things for himself at all time. And going out to eat with anybody is a real chore.
Oh God, I mean, I know you can develop allergies later in life, but I feel supremely blessed that I am not allergic, as far as I know, to anything at all. Quick update: we haven't heard from the MyPillow guy in a while. Mike Lindell, right? He hasn't been appointed any position in the Trump administration, but he is being sued now again. But this time by not by customers or the DOJ, but Federal Express is suing the MyPillow outfit. What's the behind the suit here, Deborah?
Now, I've had some MyPillows in my guest room, and they're actually quite wonderful, so I don't know, the customers are okay. But when Mike Lindell ships off those pillows, he uses FedEx, and he hasn't been paying the delivery fees to the tune of $9 million. So FedEx wants their delivery fees.
How did they let that tab go that long? Like, you'd think once it hits $1 million, they'd be like, all right, we're not shipping it. $9 million? That's crazy. I trust you, Deborah, with your pillow selection. I remember when they first came on the scene, I was like, oh, I would love a great pillow. And then I went to the website, and it was crazy expensive. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the pillows I've been using since college. But apparently but $9 million. That's a steep penalty. All right, thanks, Deborah. Quick update. U.S. side. This is interesting. I meant to bring this up with Eric, and I forgot. U.S. Cyber Command gets orders to back off of Russian targets. Our buddy Peter King from CBS has the story.
Several U.S. officials tell CBS News the order came from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. No cyber planning or offensive digital actions against Russia. What's not known right now is how long it'll last, nor what the motivation behind the move is. A high-ranking Republican lawmaker and the president's national security advisor both say they were unaware of the order, which comes as President Trump tries to negotiate an end to Russia's war with Ukraine. Peter King, CBS News.
Now, the headline is a head-scratcher. You're like, what? But I am presuming that this is reciprocal, right? I believe Pete Hegseth ordered the stopping of any targeted cyber stuff against Russia in exchange for Russia stopping their targeted stuff on the United States, which would be a great development if we are to have friendlier relations. That's my presumption, or it's a negotiating plan. Like, hey, we're going to lay off you cyber-wise. Come to the table. We got to get a peace deal. I would think those are two of the. But the headline it was shocking. But I think if you go deeper, there's probably a legitimate reason for the ceasing of any cyber activities against Mother Russia. All right, quick break. When we come back, we got new tariff news. The CEO of Ford Automotive Company warns that these tariffs could crush the automotive industry, and we're about to see those tariffs go into effect with Canada, Mexico, and China. I want to make sure I get the three countries right. Diving in deep with the tariff news, Eric Martin from Bloomberg News joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Heavy rain and severe storms have impacted our area again. How did your roof hold up? Hi, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show here. Water is your home's #1 enemy. I recommend you schedule a free roof analysis with my roofer, Findlay Roofing. The roof guys. Check your attic, ceilings, drywall, and chimney. Any dripping water, wet spots, or water streaks? If yes, think of Findlay first. Get peace of mind with no obligation and no charge. FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Hey, this is Rocco at Rocco's European Garage, and we invite you to come see us at our 6th location, now open off of Main Street, halfway between downtown Alpharetta and Milton. At Rocco's European Garage, we take pride in offering full service and repair on any European vehicle. You'll always get effective communication, upfront all-in pricing, and you approve the work prior to us beginning. Plus a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker, always at a better value than the dealership. Now open in Alpharetta or find a location near you at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team. And we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Hey folks, it's Scott Slade, and I'm excited to partner with Virtual Imaging. This is now part of my proactive health plan. Heart disease runs in my family. I've been touched by it too. You need to know they offer one of the most advanced CT screening technologies in the Southeast. Low-dose radiation and very safe, similar to flying in an airplane. 98% accurate images of your arteries, and they can detect the most minute cancer cells at the earliest stage. And the new scan can now also get a clear picture of your brain. This is new. So if you have any concerns about dementia or stroke, it'll give you a clear understanding of the possibility. I have a special offer, an invitation for you. If you call Virtual Imaging today, you and your spouse will receive a free heart and brain scan. Now, a free heart and brain scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. Just call 770-730-0119. That's 770-730-0119. Or visit their website to schedule a free heart and brain scan at virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now for you and then for your loved ones.
When you're running a small business, every dollar counts. And there's lots of ways you could try saving money, like, say, subletting half your office to an exotic pet shop, or downsizing your fleet of catering trucks to a fleet of catering scooters. Or you could try a smarter way to save. Switch to Comcast Business Mobile. It could save you up to 70% on business wireless compared to AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, and save you the hassle of having a parrot as your desk mate. So don't compromise your business to save money. Keep it growing with Comcast Business Mobile, an incredible value and smarter way to save. Comcast Business Mobile, powering smarter savings, powering possibilities.
Restrictions apply. Compares weighted average of providers based on optimized pricing. Comcast Business Internet required. Reduced speeds after data usage included with plan. Savings may vary.
11:18 on the Mark Arum Show. Checking massive construction delays. Live with the latest. Alex Williams.
2 right lanes blocked in Swanee, 85 southbound, Highway 317, exit 111. 85 south slows right at Buford Drive, Highway 20, the Mall of Georgia, exit 985 south slowing before you even merge onto 85 south. So think about Satellite Boulevard or Buford Highway to avoid that. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Earlier in the show, we talked about Coca-Cola saying the aluminum tariffs shan't impact their business. Covering the tariffs beat and joining us live from Bloomberg News, it's Eric Martin. Eric, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
A little bit of good news from Coca-Cola here in Atlanta saying they won't be raising prices because of the tariffs, but tariffs are about to be popped. President Donald Trump on the verge of slapping new tariffs on Canada, Mexico, while doubling a levy on China. What's the timing on these tariffs, and what do you think the impact's going to be to U.S. consumers?
Well, we have the tariffs on metals that are set to go into place on March 12th, and these other tariffs that are being talked about, the deadline for the administration to decide on them is tomorrow. But these are by far the most ambitious and wide-ranging tariffs that we've seen from President Trump in his 2 terms in office. The tariffs would affect $1.5 trillion in annual U.S. imports from Canada, Mexico, and China. And so really unlike anything we've seen to this point in terms of their breadth and their potential impact, not only on those trade partners, but on American consumers.
Eric, we've seen a pause in the tariffs with our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, set again to go into effect tomorrow. Is there anything that Canada or Mexico can do to get another pause to get these tariffs kicked down the road? What exactly is the Trump administration looking for?
Well, when you talk to analysts, their feeling is that Canada and Mexico already are doing a lot to try to meet President Trump's demands. We saw Mexico last week transferring to the U.S. 29 suspects in drug and other kinds of drug trafficking and other kinds of crimes. The suspects to stand trial in the U.S. an unprecedented kind of extradition. that we have not seen in that scale ever in the past. And we've seen efforts by both Canada and Mexico to crack down on the import of fentanyl into the U.S., on the entry of fentanyl. The two big factors that President Trump has identified as wanting to see more from those countries since the start of the year have been on stopping undocumented migration and on stopping the entry of fentanyl. Now the president is saying that he wants to see a drop in the number of domestic deaths due to fentanyl in the U.S., but that kind of data acts with a lag. And so in terms of what can they do to demonstrate their cooperation, analysts say they're really doing about as much as they can, and the ball is really now in the White House court as to whether they impose the full 25% tariff that the president floated earlier this year, given, as you mentioned, that 1 month reprieve in the beginning of February, or whether they put into place a tariff that is somewhere less than that 25%. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick yesterday on Fox News talking about needing to decide exactly how they're going to play this and what their response is going to be, given that there has been some effort by Mexico and Canada to meet the president's demands.
Excuse me. Eric Martin from Bloomberg News joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Eric, what does Wall Street think about this? Are we seeing some skittishness today ahead of tomorrow's possible tariffs, or is Wall Street already baked this into what they have going on?
Well, we certainly have seen in the stock market and currency market reactions to each latest indicator of where this is going. And so, it's something that most economists believe that tariffs are paid largely by consumers, and that this would affect the bottom line of American companies. And so we've seen lots of things that that Wall Street is reacting to, but also the expectations around the Federal Reserve, and will the tariffs cause inflation that limits the room for the Fed to cut rates or postpone the next rate cut? That's a big question that stock investors have been following and have been concerned with.
I don't know if you saw the story yet, Eric, and I just saw the headline. I wasn't able to get into it, but the CEO of Ford Motor Company came out painting what sounded like a doomsday situation for the American automotive industry if these tariffs move forward tomorrow with Canada and Mexico. Do you have an update on that story and what the CEO of Ford said?
I don't know those particular comments, but certainly the automotive industry is one of those that would be most impacted by tariffs, particularly on Mexico. Vehicles are the top Mexican export to the U.S., including those made by the Detroit Big Three. The car industry is, even when we talk about buying American in terms of car brands, a lot of cars get made in Mexico or in Canada, or have the parts transit back and forth across the borders in these 30 plus years of the NAFTA era. And so, so that's something that certainly, if you have a 25% tariff on passenger vehicles that currently trade duty free, would be a big impact on the bottom line of these car manufacturers. So understandable in terms of the Ford CEO's comments that you're mentioning there.
I don't want you to make predictions or be a prognosticator, Eric, but with the looming deadline tomorrow with Canada and Mexico, do you think we'll see a 23rd hour resolution to postpone it again for another month, or am I being too optimistic?
Well, it's certainly it's something that the countries, that America's trade partners would very much like to see, and it would be in keeping with the history of Donald Trump's negotiating style. We've seen him stake out these maximalist negotiating positions. We saw in the beginning of February where everyone was looking for the tariffs to come into effect, and he said the weekend prior that they would come into effect, only to have an 11th hour reprieve. And so that is, certainly is something we've seen with this president before. On the other hand, we saw actually an executive order last night about adjusting what's called the de minimis tariff level, or the tariffs that are applied to small parcels that come in from Mexico and Canada.
Eric Martin, Bloomberg News. Fascinating stuff covering the tariff beat. Any new information, we'll bring it to you live here on 95.5 WSB. Quick break. When we come back to the White House, get the latest on what happened Friday in the Oval Office. That's next on the Mark Arum Show.
So, you got your termite bill and they raised the rate. Switch your termite protection to Breda Pest Management and your rate's locked in for 10 years. Hey, it's Scott Slade. In Georgia, termite protection is a must, and nobody's better at keeping termites out of your home than Breda. But if live termites are ever found, Breda will retreat, fix the damage, and honor the rest of your contract all for free. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on Post cereal or Kroger brand peanut butter. Select varieties are only $1.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 888-471-3896. That's 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar. Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Fire danger around North Georgia, including all of Metro Atlanta.
The National Weather Service notes the dry conditions all around our area. Our last significant rain was on February 19th, almost 2 weeks ago. Adding to that danger are low humidity and gusty winds, both prime factors to spread any fire that does break out. The high fire danger remains in effect until 7 o'clock tonight.
WSB's Judd Higginbotham says it's these same conditions that help spread weekend fires around the North Georgia mountains that burned almost 2,500 acres and the wildfires that continue to burn in the Carolinas. Otherwise today, mostly sunny and 63, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The head football coach at Appalachian High School stepping down nearly 6 months after the shooting that left 4 people dead at the school in Barrow County. Coach Mike Hancock posting on social media that he's been struggling with PTSD, anxiety, grief, and depression. One of the 4 victims of the September shooting was Hancock's defensive coordinator, Ricky Aspinwall, known as Coach A to his players. Coach Hancock said that his goal now is to help others who may be going through the same kind of thing. Deputies for one metro law enforcement agency soon will be outfitted with body cameras.
With the help of a matching grant from the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the Paulding County Sheriff's Office has more than $500,000 to put the body cameras on all of their deputies, something Sheriff Ashley Henson says is an important priority for him.
I want our citizens to know that if one of our deputies makes a mistake or jailers make a mistake, we're going to hold them accountable. And these body cameras are one of the ways in which we're going to hold those individuals accountable.
Henson says they will test the products from several companies beginning this week before making a final decision on which cameras to buy. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
European leaders are scrambling to contain the fallout from the explosive Oval Office meeting between President Trump and Ukraine's President Zelensky. White House correspondent Karen Travers has more.
President Trump's expected to meet with his top national security advisors Monday afternoon for a briefing on Ukraine. The discussion about next steps will include National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Waltz told reporters Monday morning the White House welcomes the Europeans taking the lead in European security. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK and France would work with Ukraine to formulate a peace plan that will then be presented to the U.S.
2 people now are dead after a driver plows into a crowd in southwest Germany today. Several others injured. The driver of a black SUV arrested, according to a police spokesperson there. Honda reportedly moving production of its next Civic hybrid car to Indiana because of possible tariffs. That's according to Reuters. The car maker had been set to produce the cars in Mexico. President Trump has said that a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada will go into effect tomorrow. Honda plans to begin building the new Civic model in Indiana starting in May of 2028. And Delta is going to start flying to a new tourism hotspot starting in October.
Delta Airlines will be flying 3 weekly nonstop flights from Atlanta to the most visited country in Africa starting on October 25th. Delta is going to be operating 3 direct flights per week to Marrakesh, Morocco, and will be expanding that to daily service beginning December 1st to accommodate peak demand. Morocco has become a tourist hotspot in recent years and has eclipsed Egypt as the most visited country on the continent. Delta serves 5 African destinations nonstop year-round, flying more than 7.5 million passengers. I'm Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman for 95.5 WSB.
It's 11:33. That means it's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams with a look at your roads.
Yeah, good morning to you, Sabrina. Right now, we're still watching the brake lights into Suwanee out of Buford area on 85 and 985 South. Both slow, trying to get to their merging point due to construction. Right now, they're in 2 right lanes, 85 southbound, Highway 317, Lawrenceville, Suwanee. Either just pack the patience and stick with it, or you can use Satellite Boulevard as an alternate. Elsewhere, we have construction, North Decatur Road at DeKalb Industrial Way. They're blocking a right lane there, so for some utility work, so just look out for that. And on the West Freeway, a little sluggish, I-20 eastbound as you leave Fulton Industrial Boulevard, just that right lane merging madness approaching I-285, the west side perimeter. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy today, high 63, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, high near 70. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour tomorrow. And watching for a line of heavy rain and thunderstorms to roll through late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning with damaging wind gusts the main impacts.
51 degrees in Alpharetta, 56 in Fairburn. Dallas has 52 degrees. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
I've got a sense of humor.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
The driver of this vehicle is a better human being than you are.
He's Eric Von Hessler.
I'm here to tell you the truth.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Ukraine must be at the table when negotiating their future. That is absolutely vital.
UK Prime Minister meeting the House of Commons today to discuss what happened in the Oval Office and the Ukraine-Russia war moving forward. When we come back, we'll go back to the White House for the latest, next on The Mark Arum Show.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000. Or visit us at TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Hey folks, it's Scott Slade, and I'm excited to partner with Virtual Imaging. This is now part of my proactive health plan. Heart disease runs in my family. I've been touched by it too. You need to know they offer one of the most advanced CT screening technologies in the Southeast. Low-dose radiation and very safe, similar to flying in an airplane. 98% accurate images of your arteries, and they can detect the most minute cancer cells at the earliest stage. And the new scan can now also get a clear picture of your brain. This is new. So if you have any concerns about dementia or stroke, it'll give you a clear understanding of the possibility. I have a special offer and invitation for you. If you call Virtual Imaging today, you and your spouse will receive a free heart and brain scan. Now, a free heart and brain scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. Just call 770-730-0119. That's 770-730-0119. Or visit their website to schedule a free heart and brain scan at virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now for you and then for your loved ones.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo.
Going to go back to the White House in just a minute, but first, Deborah Green, we have nothing to give away today. I'm so sad.
We have nothing to give away.
All right, so here's my proposition. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. On days where you couldn't raid the prize closet, you've seen my office, right? What the closet
good.
that is.
Yes, I've seen your office.
What if I start giving away like WSB swag that I've accumulated over the years?
You don't want to keep it?
Well, I've got so much of it. I've got doubles and triples. Like there's an unopened WSB Radio denim shirt in the plastic.
Hey, that could come back in style.
Even if it does, I'm not a stylish cat. Like, are you down? Would promotions be really mad at me if I just started giving stuff away willy-nilly?
I mean, it is your stuff to give away. We do have to arrange for somebody to pick it up because they won't let us mail anything.
Sure,
so that's
sure.
the only rub. Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that.
Why not?
I'll put up a Twitter poll. On days where Deborah doesn't have amazing tickets to give away, or we don't give away $1,000, should I give away old WSB swag? I'll put up
Vinny model the denim shirt?
I don't want to open it though. Like it's in the sealed.
Oh, that's right.
It's in the sealed plastic. Maybe just hold it up or something. I'll put up a poll on X or Twitter or what have you. I just feel bad when we don't have stuff to give away, and I've got so much stuff that I want to give away. All right, Deborah, back to you in just a moment. Let's go up to the White House. He has been covering the White House for decades now. Correspondent John Decker joining us. John, good morning. It's been 3 long days since what happened in the Oval Office on Friday. I've been dying to talk to you. You've been at the White House a long time. Your initial reaction to what we saw between President Trump and President Zelensky on Friday?
Well, right now, I think I'm stating the obvious, but I will state it nonetheless, and that is the relationship between President Zelensky and President Trump is not in a good place. But here I will say something that may not be obvious. I think that the relationship can be repaired, and I think it's important for both Zelensky and Trump to repair that relationship. And President Zelensky indicated over the weekend when he was in the UK meeting with the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, as well as King Charles, that he wants to repair that relationship. He wants to sign that mineral rights deal. And so that may indeed happen. Right now, it's not on anyone's schedule in terms of President Zelensky coming back to Washington, coming back to the White House. But that could happen. And also what could happen in the very near future is a meeting between President Trump and President Putin. So I'm always on the lookout for when that may be on the president's schedule.
I think what shocked us most, John, is we were covering the lead up to the Zelensky White House visit was, well, he's not going to fly all the way from Ukraine if there isn't already a done deal apparently we were wrong in that assumption. There was no done deal, and what we saw Friday was a result.
Yeah, that's a mistake. The president has various people. I'm not putting the blame on any one individual, but there are people who are not by training diplomats. There are people that are very good in terms of what they've done in the private sector, but being a diplomat is something else entirely. And unless you have that deal ironed out, all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed, you don't have the president meet with a foreign counterpart until that has happened, and that's not what happened. President Zelensky came to Washington, D.C. to talk about getting closer to a peace deal, perhaps getting closer to a ceasefire in the near term, signing that mineral rights deal, but it really wasn't ready just yet in terms of that meeting happening. I think that's pretty clear.
White House correspondent John Decker joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Early in the program, I put forth a theory, John, that as much as I love, the Q&A in the Oval that we've seen in the second Trump term with all the foreign heads of state that come in and before they meet, they take questions. It seems to me that is what actually derailed this, right? Historically, they don't have this big press conference before they meet behind closed doors. It's always the press conference after. And I think if that was still the standard, we certainly wouldn't have seen what happened. What happened would have happened behind closed doors.
Well, I agree 100% with what you just say, Mark. That is true. What typically happens, I've been in the Oval Office countless times. I mean, dozens of times when the president is meeting with his foreign counterpart, regardless of who the president is. That goes back quite some ways. And typically it's just a photo op. The president, his foreign counterpart, they say prepared remarks, and then the press is ushered out of the room. And that's not what happened on Friday. Essentially, they were having the meeting right there in real time in front of the press. And, those types of contentious meetings, they do happen, but they happen behind closed doors. And that's the way that meeting should have happened on Friday.
Yeah. And again, as a talk show host, it's a catch-22 because I've absolutely loved, the Q&A in the Oval Office with the prime minister or the president of France. But it seems like just logistically, if they did that just photo op and then went behind closed doors, maybe there would have been an agreement on a mineral rights deal. Maybe we wouldn't have known how tense it is between the Trump administration and Zelensky. But I would suspect we're going to continue to see those Q&As in the Oval before the meetings going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that earlier in the week. You may recall, maybe this is what you're speaking about as well. We saw that earlier in the week, when President Trump met with the French President Macron, when he met with the UK Prime Minister Starmer. These Q&A that occur while in this case, Macron and Starmer are right there, right next to the president. And, I think that in the case of Zelensky, in the case of Macron, and in the case of UK Prime Minister Starmer, they did not want to be on the wrong side of any particular issue, in particular in front of the press, with one exception. You may recall when Macron was in the Oval Office, he disagreed with the president right there in front of him, in terms of the president saying that the money that Europe has provided to Ukraine, the president said was a loan, and he was corrected by the French President Macron saying, no, not a loan. We have given that money to Ukraine. We have provided that money from Ukraine, and there's no expectation of being paid back.
Huge story from Friday, developing throughout the weekend into today. John Decker, as always, appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Eric Erickson is going to continue our coverage at noon. We had him on earlier talking about what went down. He was on the air Friday when it all went down. Eric is going to discuss this at length. The Eric Erickson Show live noon to 3 here on 95.5 WSB. Quick break. When we come back, it was freezing this morning. When can we expect another ice age on planet Earth? We'll tell you what the scientists think next on the Mark Arum Show.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
all the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app.
all the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLand will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLand. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769, located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. A few years back, there was a surge of online mattress companies offering a one-feel-fits-all mattress. Eventually, they all added more selections. Why? They discovered what we've known for over 30 years. Everyone has unique preferences. At the Original Mattress Factory, we handled a range of comfort choices so that you can select the one that suits you best. Don't rely on someone else's opinion. Try out a variety of options and find the one that's right for you. OriginalMattress.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Get ahead of your spring cleaning this month and call the pros at Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning to remove the dust, pollen, and debris from your home. Take advantage of Zero Res's spring sale going on now. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. That is right, $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Just tell them I sent you, or use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
11:50 on the Mark Arum Show. Still monitoring construction delays in through Suwannee. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Yeah, that construction continues in 2 right lanes, 85 southbound at Highway 317, Lawrenceville, Suwannee, exit number 111. Again, it's in 2 right lanes, so you're jammed up leaving the Mall of Georgia. If you'd like, you can use Satellite Boulevard as an alternate. Been watching a slow zone on the south side. It's getting a little better, though. 75 northbound, on and off the brakes as you leave Jodico Road up through Stockbridge, passing Hudson Bridge Road. And we got that construction on North North Decatur Road at DeKalb Industrial Way, blocking a right lane. This report brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Former Atlanta resident Whitney Houston, with her famous rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. 94 years ago today, the Star-Spangled Banner became our official national anthem. Love the national anthem, right? 100%. Whitney's version, amazing. I don't think it should be our national anthem. I know that's a bold statement.
What should be?
I think America the Beautiful should be our national anthem. Here's Ray Charles singing America the Beautiful on WSB Radio. To me, this is a better song, a more patriotic song. Of course, I should have queued it up to him actually. Here we go. Isn't it just a better song, don't you think? You're a musical cat, Vinny. It's more poetic. The lyrics are...
That's my first time hearing that.
Oh,
is that
my
bad?
God.
Well, it is based on a poem, so that's
Yeah.
probably why it's more poetic.
More poetic. So when I was in, I can't believe Vinny, get that off of, when you post the podcast, erase that line, Vinny. You might not have heard the Ray Charles version, but when I was in elementary school, Deborah, we said the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we sang America the Beautiful. Like daily.
Oh.
We said the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we sang, "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain."
Okay.
Now you know
Yeah,
that song.
okay.
All right, thank you, Vinny. Jeez Louise.
Vinny knows the remix.
I just think that'd be I mean, I'm not casting shade on the national anthem, but I think that's a better song. Especially, I mean, not that Whitney didn't crush the national anthem, but Ray Charles singing America the Beautiful, like that. If I'm put that on my campaign slogan, Deborah, if I'm ever president, I am going to make America the Beautiful our new national anthem. But speaking of presidential order, President Trump has signed an executive order that English is now the official language of the United States of America. All right, it was freezing this morning. It's now 56 degrees in Midtown. I'm fascinated by the last ice age, which ended like 11,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago. What do the experts say will be the next ice age on planet Earth, Deborah?
Well, it doesn't seem as random as everybody thought. There's actually a lot of science, and it's a little bit more than I completely comprehend. But basically, they've done all this research, and they assume that ice ages happen about every 100,000 years. So now the thing is because of humans and all of the global warming and the emissions that we've created, it's kind of throw things off. So we're about 10,000 years away from our next ice age. So all of us are okay.
All right, so the last ice age ended like 11,000 years ago, but it comes every 100,000 years. So the next start of the ice age is in 10,000 more. I mean, we're not going to be here for that.
Approximately, yeah.
All right. It's pretty amazing when I'm going to nerd out a second about this. The last ice age, which ended I'm like 11,000 years ago, the northern half of North America, where I grew up in Connecticut, where Deborah grew up in Wisconsin, was covered under a mile-deep sheet of ice. Think about that. The ice age at its peak covered the north half of the United States under a sheet of ice, a mile deep. And with the glaciers and that's how the Great Lakes formed, Deborah, because of the last ice age.
That's why it's so nice and flat where I grew up, because glaciers just flattened everything there.
And that's why there were so many rocks in New England, because the glaciers, when they were receding, just left the rocks, wherever they were. That's why stone walls are so prevalent in New England, because when the glaciers pulled back, it just left all these stones and boulders. And that's what, when the Pilgrims came over here, they were like, how are we gonna grow crops in this? Everywhere we dig, there's like these stones and rocks. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, so we won't be here for it. I wonder if the ice age, if in 10,000 years, if we're gonna see more megafauna in North America because they went away at the end of the last ice age, talking about saber-toothed cats and woolly mammoths, giant sloths. Camels were in North America. Graham Hancock says it was an ancient apocalypse that knocked them out. But once the ice age ended, those megafauna in North America were gone. Anyway, all right, so 10,000 years. Thank you, Deborah. Let's get a fact of the day. FOD.
Longoria's fact of the day.
On this day in 1956, Elvis Presley's Heartbreak Hotel became the #1 on the Billboard charts. There's been over 140 covers of this song. And Willie Nelson, Leon Russell, #1 country, they went with it. Paul McCartney, Justin Timberlake, Leonard Skinner. It's been a lot of people. So
what? Not to pull a Vinny, Deborah, but how does Heartbreak Hotel go? I know I've heard it.
Since my baby
You
left
me. All right,
I
yeah.
found a new place to dwell.
100
Vinny, do you
covers
know
on
what
it.
band Paul McCartney was in?
The Beatles, yes.
Yeah, all right. Megadeth. All right. Good fact of the day, Vinny. Good job. Let's get some stars of the show and then cede the station to Mr. Eric Erickson.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Aram star of the show?
Vinny, I can't compliment you enough. You've done a great job filling in for Longoria. The Stoic one is back tomorrow. He was behind the scenes fixing our video feed. Vinny, Bag of Donuts, star of the show. Deborah, fantastic job as always. Brianna on the phones. You get a star of the show. Our guests, we had a bunch of them today. Inez de la Cuerta joined us from London, talking about European reaction to the Trump-Zelensky meeting. John Decker, White House correspondent, joined us from the nation's capital. Eric Erickson joined us live. Great stuff with Eric. He's about to take over. We went to Rome today as well. We went to London and Rome today on the show. Seth Doan, CBS correspondent in Rome, talking about the papal health. Ironically, tomorrow is Fat Tuesday and Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. Any updates on the Pope's health, we'll bring him to you live here on WSB Radio. Eric Martin from Bloomberg talked about tariffs. Again, tomorrow we could see the tariffs go into effect between us, Mexico, and Canada unless there's some late-term deal to kick the can down the road. I think that's everybody. Am I forgetting a guess? Decker, Doan, Erickson, Martin,
Seth.
Yeah, we got him. All right. Good job, Deborah. Good job. All right. Social medias are going to be active. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen my social media, I have put the Big Bear Bald Eagle live nest cam up on my social media. So check it out. It's fat. I'm going to watch that the rest of the day. Beautiful bald eagle. At Mark Arum, social media, MARKARUM. Stay safe. Have a great Monday, Atlanta.
Said he's going back.